Hello everyone. In today's video, we are going to be doing a little comparison between a Charvel DK24, this one right here, and another Charvel guitar. This one right here is a Charvel San Dimas. Both made by Charvel, both similar but quite a bit different guitars. Stick around and we'll do a little run through on both of them, okay? So first up is this Charvel DK24. Now I'll tell you a few things about this. It's got a Goto 2-point trim, you can see right there. It's got this nice, oops, try not to hit the mic, sculpted heel in the back, which gives you access. It's also got a nice little sculpt here on this horn that gives you great access to the upper frets. It's got a caramelized maple neck, which has sort of got a bit of an unfinished feel, and it's really nice. It's got a really beautiful profile on it too. That's super comfortable to play. The side dots are luminlay, they call it. They glow in the dark. Actually, you cover them up, so that would work kind of well on a dark stage. 24 frets and Tusk graphite nut, which works well. So what else? Oh, the pickups. This is a Seymour Duncan full shred in the bridge position. This is a Seymour Duncan Alnico 2 Pro in the neck position. And I'll compare the pickups a little later between both guitars. What else has it got? It's got locking tuners, locking Charvel tuners, which are pretty good. The truss rod access is a heel mount right in there. It's got a little spot you stick your Allen key in and can wrench it back and forth. The output jack is kind of cool. It's on the back right there, away from anything else, so you don't see it. Normally they're put right about here, but this is actually on the back, which is kind of a neat thing. And what else? It's got a volume and a tone control. It's got a 5-way switch, 5 ways, and it's got a parallel series switch on it as well for switching your pickups between parallel and series. From what I understand, I'm not really sure, but parallel and series. Series is your standard pickup setup. Parallel gives a little more of a mid-range kind of quack sound and a little lower output, but a little higher and a little more mid. Some people like that. I'll run you through those sounds a little later on, okay? And here's the other guitar we'll be comparing today. This is the Charvel San Dimas. This one I've had for quite a few years. I believe it was made in Japan. Yes, the neck plate says Japan. They were made in Japan at one point, and then they were making them in the US, I believe, and then they make them in Mexico now. Just like this, the DK24. This one's made in Mexico as well. And they make pretty good guitars in Mexico. Alright, enough talking. Let's get down to some playing demos to see how these guitars sound in comparison with one another. Okay, here is the pickup configuration via the 5-way switch on the DK24. So the first position, the lowest position, is the bridge pickup. Move it to the second notch, and that is the 2 outside single coils. So now you have 2 single coils in there. And if you do the middle position is both pickups together, both humbuckers. And the fourth position up is the 2 inside coils, so it gives you a little different single coil sound. 2 of those inside there. And the last position is just purely the neck pickup, just that there. And of course, that gives you 5 sounds. And if you hit the parallel series switch, that also adjusts within those 5 as well. So you get 10 total sounds from these pickups. So it's a pretty versatile guitar that way. And as far as the switches for the San Dimas go, 2 pickups, 3-way switch. Bottom position gives you the bridge humbucker, top position gives you the neck humbucker, and the middle position gives you both pickups together. Not quite as versatile as the DK24, but you know, there's workable sounds in there. You can dial the volume down a little bit to clean things up. So it's still pretty versatile, just not as many options as the DK24. Okay, so if I had to choose, that is a tough one.
Oh no.
Let's start with the San Dimas. This is a solid guitar, you know, modeled after all the 80s shredder guitars that they were all playing back then. 2 rock and roll pickups in it. It's got the rock solid Floyd Rose trem on it, which never goes out of tune. No matter how much you want to abuse this thing, it just won't go out of tune. The only downside is changing strings on it. A bit of a pain compared to changing strings on the DK24. You know, got to unlock things and unlock the locking nut. But once you get all that set up, it's just perfect. That's where that is. Okay, now the DK24. This, if I could describe it, it's got 24 frets compared to 22. It's got the sleeker heel, contour, more options with the pickups. The pickups aren't quite as high output as on the San Dimas, but you've got the 5-way switch for selecting different tones in there, plus with the series parallel switch, that'll get you 5 more. So that gives you 10 tones total that you can coax out of this machine. So the trem, the Goto 510 2-point trem, not as good as the Floyd Rose. It's got locking tuners, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to stay in tune. If you get too aggressive with this bar, you'll find it goes out of tune more often than you'd want it to be. Maybe 8 times out of 10 it'll return in tune, but those 2 times that you're a little too aggressive with it, it won't return in tune. So you'll find yourself tuning back up. For little tremolo flourishes, little subtle ones, it works quite well. It stays in tune quite well. Okay, I guess the final words would be, for the San Dimas, if I was going to a rock gig and I needed a reliable, dependable rock guitar that would stay in tune and do the rock stuff really well, I would take this guitar. It performs really well. It's very reliable, very dependable, stays in tune really well. And the sounds you can get out of it, it's a great rock and roll guitar. It has all the sounds you need in it with the 3-way switch, and it cleans up nicely, as you saw in the demo. So what can I say about the DK24? This is a high performance modern rock and roll guitar, very versatile with the different tones. The whammy's not as good, but you know, like I said, if you're a little more subtle with it, it's still pretty reliable. If I was going to a studio gig and they wanted me to bring a guitar that had a lot of different sounds available, this is what I would bring, because it can do so much more than just the rock thing. It's definitely a high performance machine. So I can't really pick between either one. So in the end, I can't really pick which my favorite would be. This does the rock and roll thing really well. It's got the Floyd on it, which is rock solid, but you only get 3 sounds out of it. But you know, how many sounds do you need? This is another rock solid guitar. You can get 10 sounds out of this one, though the bridge isn't as solid as the Floyd on this one. So it all depends on what your needs are. I switch between these guitars week to week. This is my favorite one week, this is my favorite the next week. They're both a lot of fun to play. So there you have it, comparison between the two. You're probably more confused than you were before you watched the video. But thank you for watching this anyways. Let me know if there's any questions you have. Hit me up in the comments, and make sure you subscribe. Great, everyone. Thank you very much.